and Facebook friends, associates, and group members to our monthly virtual conference. I'm your host, Emmanuel Barbee. Please hit that like button, subscribe, and share with your friends, ladies and gentlemen. Before I go into my presentation, I am encouraging all of my listeners and group members, especially those of you who are on Facebook friends list, which is currently 1,800 people, to follow me on my Medium page so that we all can be on the same page. Look for the exact title of this presentation, then click on the topic and scroll down to show and prove. Check and make sure that you are subscribed to my YouTube page, because the power that shouldn't be are unsubscribing my listeners. For example, notice that on my YouTube page under the About section, I have 13,644 views, yet only 387 people are subscribed. They are trying to oppress our numbers and keep us from talking about these social issues that affect Black people and African people, because we're using social media to make real change in the real world. I created a GoFundMe page last April 2022 as a crowdfunding source so that everyone on my Facebook friends list and everyone in my social groups would know exactly where the funds for our film project will go. This will also indicate our progress in getting this film fully funded and made. Out of 1,800 people on my Facebook friends list, only 5 people have donated to our film project on our GoFundMe page. Black people, we have to do better. Our children are depending on us. I come before you all with clean hands. There's no gimmicks, no scams. All I have is my revised book, our virtual store, our PayPal page. If you are a U.S. citizen, you can use it as a tax write-off because this is a legitimate 501c3 nonprofit, and our GoFundMe page. My book is the foundation of my Christian business, GRCAI of Chicago, which stands for the Grassroots Community Activist Institute of Chicago. After 15 years of being overlooked and rejected by the African American community, I decided to write and publish my story, quote, The Solution for Black America, Reclaiming, Rebuilding, and Restoring the Urban Ghettos in America, second edition. It's available on Amazon. I talked with my publisher about lowering the book price to make it affordable for everyone. It's available now in 2 forms, an ebook for $5.33 and a paperback for $5.05 plus shipping and handling. Unfortunately, my revised book is barely selling, and items on my virtual store is also barely selling. This is why I'm trying to get our story to the big screen in order to reach the Black masses. I have been paying out of pocket for the business title since 2010 because I believe Black youth deserve better than this. I created this platform because I refuse to be ignored. I'm trying to connect with other like-minded Black people, African immigrants, Afro-Brazilians, Afro-Latinos, Afro-Caribbeans to discuss Black issues and solving them in America and throughout the diaspora, as well as on the African continent. Help Stop the Genocide in American Ghettos podcast is our interactive Black grassroots media component. We discuss controversial topics that you won't hear about from mainstream media. I am using this platform to broadcast my vision and plan loud and clear to the Black grassroots and the global African family. Don't wait until I am dead. Embrace my vision and plan for Black America. Work with me while I am alive. My film project is my last attempt to try to do something positive for my racial group before I cut and run to Africa. The proceeds from the film will put me in a better position financially so that I can purchase property in Chicago, buy office equipment, hire qualified black middle class professionals, and African immigrants within the United States of America. I understand many of you are working parents or college students. Even if you are unable to participate during our live online events, please like the video, share with your friends on all social media you are a part of, and leave a public comment in the comment section below. That will help get the ball rolling. And that's where also I'm going to have all my links to my revised book, our virtual store, our PayPal page, and our GoFundMe page. As you all know, November 10th will mark our 32nd anniversary. I want to know if there is anyone on my friends list or in my social groups who live within the United States of America who knows how to do a professional fundraising. If so, please send me a message to my Facebook inbox so we can discuss doing business. Our first topic, reparations, is a hot issue. I am not doing these video podcasts for my health. I'm trying to prove to my listeners that Black America are in deep trouble, and we have little time before it gets even worse for Black Americans. I come with receipts to back up my claim. I found an article from the LA Times entitled, quote, "Most Californians want reparations for slavery, but don't want to pay cash. Now what?" Unquote. If you would like to read the full article, then I encourage my listeners to go to my Medium page, look for the exact title of this presentation. Then click on the topic and scroll down to show and prove. Basically, here's my issue with that statement. If cash is what made American slave owners wealthy off our ancestors' free labor, and since the so-called founding fathers were slave owners, then the American government needs to compensate the descendants of American slaves with cash payments. Notice, the Ukrainians and illegal immigrants didn't need a 1,080-page report. After American slavery was abolished, these policies focus on a specific lineage. The U.S. government targeted descendants of American slaves. Americans like talking about racism and discrimination, but when we start talking about what we are going to do about it, then all these other groups get quiet. In the article, McLone, a white man, said, quote, he would rather see California legislators provide more of a helping hand to all disadvantaged residents regardless of race. That could include more investment in schools in low-income neighborhoods, he said, as well as a revamp of community colleges and trade schools to create pathways to jobs that will pay not only a living wage, but a good wage, unquote. Census records show about 200 enslaved African descendants lived in California in 1852, though at least one estimate from the era suggested that the population was close to 1,500 people, according to the task force report. In 1852, California passed a fugitive slave law, rare among free states, that allowed slaveholders to use violence to capture enslaved people who had fled from the Golden State. Please leave a public comment on the YouTube page about the topic. Most of all, share this video podcast with your friends. This will help get the ball rolling. Our second topic. Leak. Joe Biden tells Black civil rights leaders Hispanics will outnumber us soon. Vicki Dillard, gives her insight about the leaked audio from a meeting with civil rights leaders. If you would like to listen to the full audio, then I encourage my listeners to go to my Medium page, look for the exact title of this presentation, then click on the topic and scroll down to show and prove. According to the audio, Biden said, quote, "Our country is doomed, not just because of African Americans, but because by 2040, this country is going to be minority white European, and you guys are going to have to start working more with Hispanics, who will make up a larger portion of the population than y'all do in terms of raw numbers," unquote. This insidious plans by American corporations is to use these politicians to get cheap labor. This country foundation has always been to use free to cheap labor. After the Citizen United decision, corporations were allowed to give donations to politicians. Now let's look at what the Biden administration has done. The Biden administration is granting temporary protection status to nearly 500,000 Venezuelan migrants who are already in the U.S., giving them the ability to live and work in the country legally. I know Black American voters are overjoyed because they clearly voted for this in the last election. Democrats have been quite open on their stance regarding this issue. Black Chicagoans, you just got more people to compete for jobs and resources. The same thing up there in New York. Now these corporations can fire you and hire them because they can pay them less. Don't get mad at the migrants coming over here. Get mad at these Democrats who is responsible for all this. The Department of Homeland Security has expanded the temporary protective status program for Venezuelan migrants, allowing recent arrivals to apply for deportation protection and work permits offered by the policy. They have already allowed 242,000 Venezuelan migrants to enter the United States. These migrants are being rewarded for breaking federal law. You all mobilized to get Trump out of office. As a result, you now have 500,000 newly arrived people who is ready to compete against you for jobs and resources. When you hire Americans, you have to pay federal tax, state tax, and all kinds of insurance benefits versus hiring someone overseas. You only have to pay their salary. Do you want more of this for the next 4 years? Biden has the legal authority to make all of these migrants legal with a stroke of a pen. Notice he won't use his authority to do the same something for Black people. Those migrants just made legal did not vote. Black voters voted for this mess while others benefit. This next election has to be a referendum on the Democratic Party for their anti-Black policies. Please leave a public comment on my YouTube page about the topic. Most of all, share this video podcast with your friends. This will help get the ball rolling. Our third topic, French President Macron claimed France ambassador is being held hostage in Niger. President Macron of France is lying to the media, claiming the French ambassador is being held hostage in Niger. Niger is not holding the ambassador against his will. Niger wants him out of the country, but he refused to leave. The coup leaders request that France ambassador and the French military leave their country. Niger gave a deadline for France to remove its ambassador. France did not comply. Now, all of a sudden, France President Macron has come out and claimed their ambassador is being held in the French embassy. Since the ambassador refused to leave, the coup leaders decided to shut off electricity and to prevent food from entering the French embassy. How are you going to stay in someone else's country that don't want you there? This is the colonizers' mentality that France has towards Africans. When I checked the market rate for uranium, it was over $60, yet France was only paying 80 cents for uranium in Niger. 85% of the people in Niger don't have electricity, but everyone in France has electricity off of the resources from Niger. That's not fair. France should have done right by Niger by paying at least half price and assisting them with building power stations where everybody in Niger could have access to electricity. They could have also assisted with Niger's infrastructure. That's a good trading partner. I believe every African nation that was under France control should unite and push to get France out of the African continent and other Western nations if they are not going to be fair business partners. I'm very proud of Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger for standing up to France and taking back their country which is their rightful place. Before I leave the United States of America, I need African immigrants within the United States to work with me in moving my Christian business from behind a computer first by helping me get my revised book on the bestsellers list, so that way people can take our cause serious, and then donating to our film project. I have been reaching out to Black Americans online and in real life for the past 31 years. Now my focus is on reaching out to African immigrants in America from the following African nations. They are South Africa, Kenya, Ethiopia, Tanzania, Uganda, Angola, Liberia, Ivory Coast, Ghana, and Nigeria. Stand up and work with me. The sooner we get this film project fully funded and made, the sooner we can build GRCAI of Chicago and expand to Africa, starting in South Africa. There's a dire need for development across the African continent. Western nations don't want Africa to become a successful independent continent. That's why they are fast to impose sanctions on African nations that is not aligned with global Western agendas. Inflation in Africa has risen. If you work with me in building our own system called GRCAI in America first, then we can replicate it to 10 African nations. We have Black millionaires across America. Many of them care less about Black youth, let alone the African American community, because they have become Americanized. I am using social media to get my message out from LinkedIn, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, etc. The theme of my presentation: what is the purpose of building GRCAI of Chicago? A call to action. The Grassroots Community Activist Institute of Chicago is a legitimate 501c3 nonprofit. We will be dedicated to improving the lives of African Americans who reside within the inner cities by strengthening the Black family and providing quality programs and services and resources to help build skill set. Our objective is to take the lead in promoting social economic justice, civic participation, and Black economic empowerment for the African American community and the African immigrant community, starting in Chicago. GRCAI Chicago will be a multi-purpose facility operating under 8 separate functions within the business. We will promote culture, shopping, full service restaurants, birthday parties, corporate meetings, create Black empowerment films, and more, as well as rental space for our members that's going to have a startup. These are the 8 components of GRCAI of Chicago. A social service component, a spiritual component, which will be optional for secular people, a political component, an entertainment component, an entrepreneur component, a Black grassroots media component, a health and wellness component, and a science and technology component. Our service/programs will focus on-site child daycare, life coaching, parenting classes, workshops, seminars, and promote self-love. The journey towards healing begins with making a decision to admit there is a problem. The Wellness Center will focus on healing from the Willie Lynch mentality and healing from the colonized mindset. We aim to showcase the untold stories of Black people through activism, artism, entrepreneurship, and everyday people who shape the fabric of America and the global community. GRCAI of Chicago will ensure that these narratives are given the recognition they deserve and that the community's contributions are celebrated and remembered. Again, I don't operate like the next Black man. I have my own style and way of doing things. Once the proceeds from the docudrama starts pouring in, then I will be in a better position financially to purchase property in Chicago, buy office equipment, and hire qualified Black middle-class professionals and African immigrants within the United States of America. I will run my Christian business the way I run my home, drama-free. Everyone who enters our doors will be vetted. We will bring the best of the diaspora to each African nation so that we can set up local chapters and do international trade among our people. We will reconnect Black entrepreneurs with African entrepreneurs, Black artists with African artists. In this Christian business, our objective is to heal from the enslavement and colonization. And again, since Black Chicago has overlooked and rejected my vision and plan for the past 31 years, my Christian business will be membership-based. I am only responsible for my members. Those who are not part of us, we will pray for them, show them tough love, and keep it moving. Once we are able to obtain a place of business, then we will hold mandatory orientations for new members and local residents. Everyone must pass our criminal background checks, sign the community pledge, and submit their thumbprint to be placed in our database. We will separate ourselves from con artists, degenerates, off-code Negroes, pedophiles, and urban terrorists. I want to make sure none of my members will never have to endure such foolishness that I had to experience just for trying to do something positive in the African American community. That's why we will invest in our youth and help them turn their dreams into a reality. We will promote international travel. We aim to instill self-confidence, leadership qualities, and essential life skills in the youth we will serve. We will provide mentorship that empowers Black Chicagoans to overcome challenges, make informed decisions, and become productive citizens. I'm asking GRCAM members worldwide to first, again, help get my revised book on that bestsellers list. Read my story yourself. If you agree with my vision and plan, then make arrangements with me so that you can come on this show and we can talk about it. Because we want to get more people involved with this. That's how, again, that's one of the reasons I created this platform. Um, Again, once the proceeds start pouring in, then I will be in a better position to do all the things that I've been talking about for the past 31 years. Together, we will build GRCAI of Chicago and make our presence known within the African American community, starting in Chicago. For credibility, I want to bring the best of the diaspora to each African nation so that we can set up local chapters and do international trade with our brothers and sisters on the continent. And we're going to meet people from my African group, GRCAI of Africa. GRCAI of Chicago mission is to help eradicate urban violence in Chicago through art, culture, spiritual development, offer a wide range of programs. We want to strengthen the Black family. We want to have on-site child daycare and offer like field trips. You know, we're going to have both a nonprofit as well as a for-profit service business. We will create our own community grocery store, community housing, and create our own community health clinic within the African American community. And again, yes, this is a large task, but it can be done. Again, I'm just trying to connect with other like-minded people that's going to help me and Sister Renee run this organization. But again, it takes capital, and I believe that the film project is going to help put us on the map, and then we can get this thing, turn this thing into a reality. Yes, you all, I'm not going to lie, I am extremely frustrated because this is not easy. You know, when you're trying to do something positive, you know, for our racial group, you know, we just run across so many negative people. But again, somebody has to do it because we see that things out there is not really working. It's getting worse. And so, again, I'm just hoping that, you know, we all will get on board. Those of you who think that this is a scam, please do me a favor. Delete me off your friends list. Do not come to no events with my name on it, and that's real. I only want to connect with people that's like-minded and, you know, that's willing to work with me and Sister Renee to turn this vision into a reality. And those of you who will be part of our film project will go down in history with me and Sister Renee. Because we're going to put your names in the credits. Now, if you want to be behind the scenes and, I mean, be anonymous, then, you know, I can't acknowledge you. But if you want to be acknowledged, that's fine. I have no issue with that. Again, if I have to find people outside of the city of Chicago, so be it. But bottom line, this is what my creator put in my heart and mind to do, to put it here in Chicago, because it doesn't matter what inner city I go to, it's going to be the same. That Willie Lynch mentality. And in my Christian business, we're going to declare war on that. So that way we can stop this, I would say, this mess being passed down to the next generation. And people that have good ideas, especially, you know, let's say, our members, the youth. We're going to implement those ideas. And we're going to, I would say, we're going to reward you for trying to do something positive. Not sit up here and ignore you and all that stuff. That's not cool. This is why a lot of people, there's a lot of people like myself that have good intentions that want to do something positive in the black community, but when we run across so many negative people, it's you get burned out, and that's what the devil wants. And so I know that this is spiritual warfare at its best. And yes, I hear a lot of ministers that I come across that say the battle is not yours, it's the Lord's, and that's true. Some say just wait on the Lord. All I can say is I'm not going to just sit up here and just twiddle my thumbs. And I'm not interested in writing more books. I want to create black empowerment businesses to put money in black people's pockets. You know what I'm saying? Teach our youth how to create legitimate jobs, both nonprofits and for-profits. That's what we want to do over here. So my thing is, I'm not going to be just up here running off at the mouth. I want to be able to make an impact in the community and meet the need of the community that we serve. But bottom line, I want to connect with black families that want more out of life. Because I would say the upper black middle class, they're not going through this foolishness. They don't have urban terrorists going around killing their kids. It's the low-income African-American community that's hurting the most. And we're going to, through my Christian business, we'll do the best that we can to try to help alleviate those issues. Mine can't stop all of it, but we'll do the best that we can to reduce it down. And furthermore, I do want people to understand, I don't want to see my members living in no urban war zone. That's why we're going to be hosting these African tours, to give black families an opportunity to think outside of America, to experience somewhere else to be. And again, to each his own. If those of you that want to remain in America to continue to fight, be my guest. More power to you. But I want to connect with other black people that think outside the box like myself, to say, hey, look, I want to be able to, just give you, some options. And not just to run to Africa, just to go there to visit. We want to go there to apply for dual citizenship. So that's how come I want to work with the African governments over there, to let them know, hey, I'm going to bring the diaspora that have special skills to help with the rolling blackouts and the water filtration in West Africa. As well as, I would say in South Africa, they have rolling blackouts there as well. They call it, I think it's called shedding. But we want to deal with those issues in exchange for citizenship. And again, my African group members, GRCAI of Africa, I need you all to step up. Don't be shy. If you're serious about me bringing the diaspora to your country, work with me. This will help speed up the process. Come on the show. If you're embarrassed about being on camera, then leave comments. But bottom line, I want us to use this technology that we have. God has given us an opportunity to network with each other now. We never had this opportunity before. I would say like 40 to 50 years ago, they didn't have such things. But now we have that. So, with that being said, I'm going to wait around for about 15 minutes. And then if I don't hear from anyone, then, we're going to conclude the show for today. But right now, the phone lines are now open. So you can call in and ask me anything as it pertains to what I just got through discussing. Ask me anything about that. Just keep it, focus on the conversation. I don't want us to be talking other issues. Just focus on the presentation, what I just gave about like reparations, about what's going on over there in West Africa, the coups, and most of all, why should we build GRCAI of Chicago? The purpose. What's the purpose of building GRCAI of Chicago? So ask me those questions. Thank you all for your time. Again, I really don't want to be doing this another 31 years. That's why I want to do this film project. And I believe that's going to really help us take GRCAM to the next level. And I want to be able, like I say, to bring GRCAM to at the African continent, but we got to get it started here in America first for credibility. Because when I come to Africa, I don't want to waste time trying to explain who I am. My business will speak for itself, and African immigrants here in America that's going to work with me and Sister Renee, they're going to vouch for us. And I would say my my African group members from GRCAI of Africa, they're also going to be going to vouch for me as well, my character and all this stuff, because they know I've been pushing this thing for a long time. But again, I want to. That's how come I'm saying I want us to move from behind the computer. With that being said, phone lines are now open.